Make sure you tap that bell so you never miss a video. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Big Fry. I wanted to talk about Insurgency. I dropped the gameplay last week while I was at E3, and I was trying to catch up with all of the comments. There were some comments on that video that kind of not rubbed me the wrong way, but kind of just made me question where people's heads are at when they're looking at shooters coming out in 2018. So I wanted to squash some of the concerns that I saw, and I also want to bring up some of the more I don't even know, just fucking stupid complaints and comments about the future of this game. So first and foremost, people were asking me about the recoil. I know it's tough to see and tough without actually feeling the guns for yourself while you're playing and just watching it happen. What I will say is I'm a player of Insurgency that has pretty good recoil control. I'm not the best Insurgency player of all time, but what I will say is when I play that game, it feels natural for me to shoot where I need to shoot, to pull down, recognize where my gun is jumping, and just adjust for it. Before you guys see the gun kick to the roof, like in other gameplays, I'm adjusting for it. Even with the hip fire, I know how to shoot with hip fire. And you guys can see there was one point in the video, I think the only kill with hip fire that I actually missed my first couple shots. You can see that I wasn't adjusting because of the angle I was looking down, and you can see it kick out. And you can see that I had to really adjust and pull down on it. The recoil is there. For the most part, I'm really good at controlling it. Once you guys get the game, you'll be able to feel what I'm talking about. Obviously, with the M4 shooting 5.56, it's not going to kick as much as a gun like the AK-47. The AK has different recoil. The SMGs have different recoil. It actually feels really good. I know it's tough to see in gameplay and judge for yourself in that regard, but it feels really good. Another concern was the third-person animations. What I will say, from what I've been reading, from what we've been told, these are placeholder animations until they can finish developing the game. Right now, this is an alpha build. We still have, we have a few months before this game launches, and then it's going to consoles in the first half of next year. So there's not a lot of time, but I'm hoping that NWI has that sorted out before we get the game in our hands, like for the launch officially. I trust them 100%. I believe in these guys to do what they got to do. Another one, this is kind of where I kind of went off with some of the comments that I was seeing. A lot of people were saying that it looks kind of generic and it looks not as good as a game like Battlefield or a game like Squad. A lot of people were comparing Insurgency to Squad, and I find that very fucking strange because they're two totally different games. Same with Battlefield. It's two totally different experiences. And I feel like because this game's modern and because it's the only real modern shooter that's coming onto the market here within the next year, a lot of people have a bunch of different expectations for what this game is, what box they need to put it in, because I find that people have to label something. You have to compare it to something, and just like it's human nature, so I can't fault them. Because just like I did with the Vigor video I dropped earlier, you have to find comparisons to other stuff to be able to relate to it. The thing about Insurgency, it's very tough to relate it to another game because it does what it does well, and it's the only one in the genre that does it. If I had to compare it, if you put a gun to my head and made me compare these games, what this game does is it takes game modes similar to those of Counter-Strike, to those of Call of Duty, the round-based in a smaller CQC type of map. But it has its own flair. It's no respawn, kind of like a SOCOM game or a search and destroy from Call of Duty. There's a bunch of different objectives that you have to do. The game is very objective focused. It's not kill death, it's objective focused. And that's like my main draw to the game is you can be terrible on the trigger, but you could have good map control and you could win the game for your team, which is fucking awesome. People compare it to Squad because it kind of looks gunplay wise the same, but Squad is completely different, especially this time around. this game has like a combination of hit scan ballistics with actual projectile over distance with the bullet drop and the compensation. It has like an algorithm that tells you how far the player is away and what system you have to use. So, and it feels different. It might look a little bit like Squad, but it plays completely different. Battlefield 5, this has nothing to do with Battlefield. It's not even in the same stratosphere as Battlefield. Battlefield is this large open scale vehicular combat. Now granted, there is a mode in Insurgency coming out that does have vehicles, and I guess that mode itself could like lend some inspiration from Battlefield, but other than that, it really has nothing to do with it. I feel like a lot of people are expecting this to be a whole bunch of different things, and I get it. Each player has different expectations. What I say this game is a hardcore team-based, tactical, objective-based shooter. There is no crosshair. There is no HUD. It's very minimalistic. You have to know the map. You have to know where you're running around. You have to know the choke points. You have to know the hot spots, and you have to play as a team. Now, this game isn't hardcore to the point of an Escape from Tarkov in terms of the gunplay. It's a little bit more arcadey. It's not as slow as a game like SWAT or a game like Escape from Tarkov. This game is faster paced. It's to me, it's you see the teams when they play Counter-Strike and they rush and they do very well because they watch the corners, and that kind of pacing is where it is. It's not this slow, take it tactical around corners. Usually when you hear the word tactical, people automatically assume the game is slow. You have to like lean around every corner, check your corner. It's not like that. But the tactics come from being able to dominate objectives, being able to outshoot your opponents when you cross a corner, being able to control the map and hold the choke points so that respawns, if there is a respawn in like a firefight or something, you can control that and contain it and dominate the battlefield. That's what tactics is, and that's where this game shines. Objective-based game modes. If you guys haven't played the first Insurgency, I strongly fucking urge you to do so. If you're on PC, you haven't played it, you can get that shit for like $10, and if it's on sale, you can get it for like $1.50 usually, or like $2.50. You owe it to yourself to at least check that game out, because even on Source Engine, it holds up really well. And I think that would give you a grasp on what you're getting into and what you're going to see. There is streamers out here, shout out to Lord Quode, who's out here doing streams of Insurgency every fucking day. And you guys can see that type of competitive pacing from that stream. You can see those kind of gameplays. And I just think that this game deserves a chance to carve its own niche in the AAA space. Even though it has a publisher, these guys are indie developers, but they're coming up and they're playing with the big boys. And I feel like the ones who are naysaying it and just shutting it down, comparing it to games like Squad, which, I mean, come on, fucking grow up. Give it a chance. NWI has helped me out in the past. I've definitely played their games. I've promoted their games. I've promoted games like Day of Infamy, but it's because I truly love these fucking games. Insurgency is one of my most anticipated games of the year. I played it at E3, and I'm honestly, at this point, I'm having withdrawals from it because I just want to play more. And that's saying something. This game is going to appeal to, not a niche, but it's going to appeal to a certain subset of gamers. And if you guys aren't into that time to kill where it's really quick, you get shot in the chest, you might die, this game might not be for you. But I urge you guys to at least check it out and keep an open mind, because this is something that the AAA space hasn't seen. And because it's modern and because it's releasing at $30, and if you owned the game before, you can get it for 20% off if you pre-order it. Like, these guys are doing everything in their power to break into the space, and I feel like it could be a game changer this year. But everything you guys saw was an alpha build. Once we get into beta, I'll compare it. I'll drop a video talking about the beta mechanics, seeing how everything works in the beta, and I'll compare it and I'll show you guys exactly what it is and exactly where we are. My name is Big Fry. Shout out to everyone who's been watching the channel, man. We're going for 100,000 subscribers this year, and I think we're going to get it. If we keep dropping banger content covering games that I know you guys want to watch, I just thank you guys, man. We're killing it this year. E3 was amazing. Shout out to you guys who all watched the 11 videos I dropped last week. If you guys haven't, I urge you to go back. There's a lot of variety in the gameplay that I dropped. Insurgency. Just keep an open mind. And I'll see you on the next one.